Alright, welcome back ladies and gentlemen. We had a very short break because we are already ready and to go. We have our second game between these two players and well, let's just get to it.
Yeah, they were actually a bit quicker to start than they said. But you know what? Anyway, here we go. Our first player spawning in the southern sector here on Viney Research Station, up by 1 game, playing for Team Liquid. He is Liquid's Snute. And his opponent here, playing for Nuit Blanche, he is the red Protoss, PtitDrogo.
Okay, last game.
A lot of swarm hosts found
yeah,
that's really annoying.
I think, okay, so we talked about Drogo having a big chance when he cut through those locusts, but I think there were actually 2 times when he could have killed Snute.
Oh yeah, you know, the first one.
Before swarms really arrived.
Exactly, like as soon as he started them, like the 7 or 9 in production, that is a moment in like whatever game really in PvZ when like the window between the Zerg starting to build those swarm hosts,
having only like 1 or 2 or 3 out.
Yeah, exactly. Like when it's below 8, that's when you can just like outright move over him.
Yeah.
But when it starts going above that number, that's when it gets increasingly hard to break through.
Yeah, because like 5 or so swarmers, you can absolutely force field out.
Yeah, you can overrun that with like Zealot Stalker.
Exactly, as long as you have a nice aggressive build. Of course, you can't just scout it and say, "Oh, let's go for it." You have to have set up for it. But Drogo, he had a very straightforward 3 base, +2 Blink Stalker play coming out there, and I'm really disappointed that he just didn't go for it and bought the time for Snute. Really, it wasn't Snute buying time; it was just Drogo hesitating, I feel.
Yeah, most definitely, man. But you know, that's sort of a reoccurring thing that we see a lot of Protoss do. They sort of freeze up, I think. You know, like how do I deal with this? I think one of the players who has had one of the best like approaches to how to deal with the sort of mass swarmer style is probably CJ Hero.
It would be CJ Hero.
Or like a parting, because they just go.
Oh, parting.
Yeah, like the moment they identify that this is going on, they go hyper aggressive. You know, try to contain them on bases, go for a lot of drops. But even they, if the swarm host number gets out of control, you know, end up struggling.
Yeah, the thing is, it's up to the Zerg to buy time, which Snute actually didn't do too well. So I'm very surprised, but I have to say, to Drogo's defense though, didn't he actually like deal with Snute's aggression really well, and didn't he like put himself in a very great position?
Oh yeah, definitely, man. It was looking really, really nice for him. So I'm going to be as harsh and say that he kind of threw it, you know, because he had his chance, he had his moment to go in there. And
so a bit of character whip him was like, you know, we're saying that, you know, he did a great job against Snute, and he could have killed Snute, which is, you know, something to be very proud of course, one of the best foreigners we have. But at the same time, though, as you say, he kind of threw it, and he even put in the chat earlier, you know, about how he threw away so many colossi.
Yeah, man, he lost like 4 at least to just miss-rallied. And miscontrol here, but now we have Drogo. He's moving out. He's going up to a total of 4 gateways. Even before his Nexus is done, they're going to finish up, and this triggers Snute to go down with a few additional spine crawlers going up to a total of 4 in construction, 3 queens at the front. And you know, suddenly, I don't think Drogo is going to be able to break this position.
Well, he does decide to throw down the Paladin still. I don't know. Snute is so confident right now that he's making drones. You could see Drogo go down to the left-hand side here, circumvent every spine crawler, but one or even all of them by going to the south end of your natural or your you know, usual third base. Snute decided to go for this very forward natural, so Drogo has a bit of an easy time breaking this, but so many spine crawlers.
Yeah, you know, remember to consider the fact that he's going up to a total of 6, right? 6 or 5. How many are there?
I think that's 6, yeah.
Yeah, there's going to be 6 spine crawlers in total. That's 600 minerals plus 300 minerals in drones. There's a 900 mineral loss plus mining time. And, you know, this is shocking, but instead of units, it's going to force static defense. And now, with these links, he comes in and he sees that he's probing up instead. So, like...
Whoa.
What is he doing?
Whoa,
he's really scared. Snute is really afraid of Drogo hitting him with a massive all-in, so he's even going to try to wall off here with these evolution chambers. But with the Zerglings, he saw that there were more probes being added in, and Drogo, you know what? At this point, he can just go for a really fast third base, because there's no way for Snute to punish this.
Drogo's zealots arrive and like, oh, it's afraid! It's afraid!
Yeah, you know, pretty much.
But the thing is, he's hoping in more. He wants to break this. He's not kidding about, and Well, Snute is just holding this with a lot of spine cores. Is this really what you want to do as Drogo?
Most definitely not. Look at how much transfuse energy there is. The zealots are melting
Not
rapidly.
a chance!
No, man. This was... Drogo, man. He was putting himself up so nicely. He shouldn't have committed to this. He's going to try to break up into the main. He actually managed to break down most of these queens, but drones are being pulled here, and they're going to be mineral walking to try to get through. They get this around on all of these units, and I think this is just going to be the end here for our red Protoss, man.
I think so, Tenshi, although losing quite a few workers there. I mean, it's still... Exactly, the thing is, it's still not enough from Drogo.
No, and the Roach Warren is done now, you know, so Snute can just stop putting drones on gas.
Third is up.
Yeah, so...
Adding gases.
Looking really hard. I didn't like that decision at all from Drogo, man.
No, the thing is, Drogo saw the spine crawlers, and, oh, no, Snute, please, spare us! Spars from these swarm hosts. Well, looks like Snute is going to be happy with going to swarm host, and Drogo not as happy, I guess. But well, this will buy him time enough to go for the third base. There's no way Snute can be aggressive, especially if you have the vision we have, knowing that he just added in his forward gases and his speed hasn't even begun yet. Wouldn't be too surprised as that we do see the La. Seeing 2 more gases going down and go into some really quick mutas, but he could also just turtle up and go for swarm host if he feels like it.
Yeah, you know, that is his preferred style, so it wouldn't be too surprising.
It would be a bit of a mind game though if he went straight for mutas after saying something like that.
I think that you know, moving into muta lists like this, if he just hides them, it goes up to like 15, and then goes into another composition, grabs a 4th base, would really be nice, because there's no way really for Drogo to know what Snute is doing. He's going to be forced to play very defensively. Even though he does poke outside the 3rd base and probably realizes, you know, you're not going to be making too many aggressive units for now. Especially, you know, with those spine crawlers. Doesn't want to be investing money into units at this point, because he's just spent so much on these spines.
Even transfusing this one spine crawler and then getting a few more in the front
crawler from Drogo, actually.
It is. He's going to get 1 spine crawler for the shield and some health of his on his Sentry. He got him.
Actually, look at this. It's almost working like some sort of wall with these spines. Going to make it impossible for anything to get right up there.
Snute, by the way, is getting triple upgrades with the Carapace +1 missile and +1 melee. So it looks like he's just setting up for like a really long game with a lot of transitions. There's really no builds where you do use all these 3 because of the big costs. So very interesting approach here from Snute. It's almost as if he's falling. Or rather, he's playing right ahead that he's going to go into the late game.
Oh man, this is... we'll have to see though, because I mean, he's making roaches at this point. And getting Burrow. And also getting those tunneling claws. There is no robo out yet for Drogo.
It would be glorious if he just made
it could actually just go right up to, you know, mass Burrow Roach.
And it would be awesome if he burrowed it beneath the army. Drogo doesn't see it and just goes into the main.
Oh yeah.
That'd be so sick.
Would be really powerful. Now that we see the robo being added in here for a red Protoss.
But Snute, right now the question is, what is his plan? Because it might just be, as you say, getting in all these roaches, getting a 4th now, so it might be as well to make sure he's going to get away with the 4th. It should not be an end game plan though, considering he's getting the melee attacks.
No, look at how many roaches Snute is doing at this point. Do you want? I just think he's just going to be planning on trying to
maybe kill the 3rd?
Deny a 4th base at least. It's going to be impossible to take versus this number of Burrow Roaches. Army for Drogo isn't too strong. He's got a lot of force fields, but of course that Burrow does completely nullify that. So, you know, if Snute can sort of hit a good angle with this, maybe, like you say, sneak up into the main using those tunneling claws, it's going to be in pretty good shape.
Gonna see if he has that 2nd Carapace as well. He probably will. He's droning behind this as well, so he's going to a very high drone count, going to be up to over 75 soon. He can go right beneath these force fields. There we go.
Oh no, Observer is out. He's going Immortal first, and there's a cannon in the 3rd base, so he needs to be very careful about this, but he's going to commit right in. There we have the Observer finishing up, and Snute are burrowing right on top of this, going to kill a lot of these sentries, but he's taking like severe damage, so he's going to actually be forced to pull out of there. Is he going to swing up into the main though? No, he is not. Photon overcharge also further going to be convincing Snute that this was not a good idea.
No, and the thing is, we're focusing really heavy on Snute right now, how he's going up to over, what is it, 80, he's going to almost 85 workers, he's going to Hydra's Den, he's getting all the upgrades he needs, even Infestation Pit right now, but look at Drogo, that's what we should be looking at right now, because he has 70 workers, he could be getting a fourth if he wants to, and he's getting some decent upgrades as well, so I wouldn't be too surprised if he got away with a fourth.
Yeah, most definitely, man, he's got a decent number of force fields. These Stalkers are going to be very well upgraded shortly, and Immortals, of course, help greatly. You know, versus the composition of Snute. Now we see the Baneling Nest Infestation Pit as well, almost done.
Oh, wow.
Upgrades have started, the 222. No?
So it begins.
So it begins, man.
He makes so many links right now.
And
is
he
he
going
going
so many
for
spies as well to complement this.
Is he going for baning a roach? Like for a timing attack, or just to defend?
You know, the Baneling Nest is actually a very interesting move here from Snute, because it's really hard to get those connections versus Blink and Force Fields. But is Drogo going to go for it? Is he going to try to hit that timing we were talking about, like pre-Swarmers sort of thing? We see the Hive coming down in now for Snute, and he's adding in Hydralisks. So maybe we'll see Snute, you know, opting in to go for the Roach Hydra Viper composition instead.
Snute soon enough is going to have 2-2 finished up, and that's a great amount of upgrades against someone who's just got +2. But Roach Hydra together with Banelings should be enough to hold this. He doesn't have enough gas though. These Spankles will help quite a bit, but Drogo's army looking really scary at this point. He's almost equal in army supply even.
Yeah, you know, one thing to point out as well, the 2-2 upgrades will also help any reinforcing lings versus this sort of comp. So,
especially now with the melee, usually you wouldn't have that.
Like, exactly, you generally don't have that upgrade very often, unless you're going for, say, late game Ultralisk Ling style, where you like add in Infestors or Vipers, depending on how you want to be playing things out. So, the upgrades here for Snute, are going to be very, very nice to have. And now Drogo, we see him setting up his fourth base. It's gold here. Big aggressive blink forward here from Snute, and you know, with no Swarmers, he's at least not going to be trading 100% cost of inefficiently, but needs to be dropping some really good force fields here. Time Warp does go down. Colossus comes in to reinforce here from the right, but right away we see Snute darting forward, trying to pick that off. One defensive blink on top of that Colossus is actually going to be enough to save it, and these Immortals offering so much damage. One of them does fall eventually, but still, Drogo, man, he's pushing on forward, and another aggressive blink from Drogo can seal the deal, is slaughtering the army of Snute, and he's trying to remax it on more Hydras and more Zerglings. Those upgrades are going to be very important, but still, the Colossus support that we see that Drogo has now is going to be very, very strong versus these Zerglings.
Oh yeah, the question is though, is this going to be enough? Because that's there is no Colossus with this. There is actually a recall if Drogo needs it. A lot of links coming down, but Drogo right now with good blink micro buying time. That Immortal still stands and is pushing towards the fourth base of Snute. He could actually shut this down, Tenshi.
Yeah, it's looking very close. Drone's fighting here. A move of desperation needs to maintain this fourth base. If this falls, suddenly Snute is going to find himself down in economy. And right now, these Blinkstalkers with the upgrades, even +3, almost done, slaughtering their way right through this Zerg army.
But no way back though. The master. The time warp is used. Yeah,
exactly. So no energy right there, as you point out. Though Snute, really, really good upgrades coming out here. And once they finish, they'll be fighting on equal terms. And even the armor there, not even started here for Drogo. And Adrenal Glands as well are going to make these links so scary. So he needs to be very careful. Even a Viper out right now for Drogo be able to pick that. Colossus actually goes for the Mothership. I think that was a misclick because he wants to grab the Colossus, take that down. There we go. Manages to get that off. And now suddenly no splash damage here for Drogo. He's got a lot of Blinkstalkers and the Immortal with those +3, so he do a lot of damage. So he needs to blink his heart out right now. The Zerglings come in to reinforce, and that's a good number of Hydras as well in the back. Wow. Does lots of damage.
Yeah, not much left for Drogo. These Hydras doing, as you say, so much damage. And Drogo just running back right now, trying to warp in more units to hold this point. He doesn't want to give this up, because then his right base will fall, or his third. He has to hold this position, but he just can't. Snute moving forward, looking to close out this series, Tenshi.
Yeah, he might very well, because I mean, he held the fourth base, he's got the 5th gold, and every single Stalker here for Drogo has fallen. However, though, he does have this gold base, and Drogo does not know about it. But now we only have Stalkers being warped in. And right now, Snute moving into position, exactly as I mentioned it. So he's going to go for the kill. Darkshrine being added in here. That's not going to play too much of a part in this game, I feel, just because of the upgrades. We have all of these units for Snute, and now one more whooping of Stalkers. Might be able to kill off a good section of these Hydras and Zerglings, but with the reinforcements streaming in for Snute, I think it's just going to be too much. He's moving into overwhelmed Drogo with a few Zealots being added in as well. They're not going to do anything, and everything is melting to the Hydralisks.
Yeah, not too much left for Drogo, just 6 Stalkers. That's not going to be enough, and Snute, with a very, very interesting start of the game, will close this series out 2-0, and there we go. GG from Drogo, and Snute will be our first player to qualify from the second qualifier.
That's true, guys. So congratulations to Liquid Snute. And the Drogo does fall down, which means he will have to play. He'll have to be playing versus the loser of our next semi-final series, which is going to be Nanua, who's going to face off versus Nurchio.
Oh yeah, so it's going to be difficult for Drogo, whichever he faces, either going to be PvZ or PvP versus Nanua. And of course, I mean, Nurchio's PvZ, very aggressive, would be really scary as well.
But Nanua, you know, as well, equally as aggressive.
Oh yeah.
Extremely good with his 2-base play. He's been the man to coin a lot of these different 2-base all-ins. So it's going to be interesting to see how these two styles clash. But you know, before that, man, we're going to cut it to a 3-minute break before we jump into our last semi-final between Nurchio and Nanua.